Welcome to my continuation of Mixu Legendary Lords 1. I will pop up on the screen the playlist for my first videos on this mod. In those I covered the Empire faction, which is quite a big part of the mod. In this video I'll be talking about the Bretonnia update part, covering 4 new campaigns. Again, you need Mixu's faction locker, which I'll link down below, as well as my video covering that mod. So let's visit the Bretonnian lands, where I can butcher some more French names and look what Mixu has provided for us. We start with Artois, located towards the northern Grey Mountains, flanked by Carolingia to the north and Lyon to the west, with Bastonne and Bordeaux to the south. A heavily forested region with high trade in timber. The people themselves are very adventurous and have a lot of battles with the local beastmen who are settled in the great forest of Ardennes. Faction-wise, bring in a very interesting ability, expert charge defense for bowman units. Now I let that sink in. This makes a unit of peasant bowmen who rarely move or skirmish can take a full charge without damage. Now I presume this is supposed to represent a tabletop rule where these peasants from Bretonnia can use wooden spikes to protect themselves against charges. A truly amazing ability, and okay, after the charge they have no chance, but at least you give you a great chance to counter them. Just remember, no skirmishing. Leader of this faction is Chilfrey d'Artois, a very strong and tough warrior famous for being grim. Never seen to laugh, he is a great war leader, not worthy or respected, being that he usually sides with any high ranking party and making anyone brave enough to take a matter to his court better have compelling evidence or beheading will happen. Other than that, they have a few bonuses for forest battles. Lord-wise, upkeep down for Question Knights. Artois is famous for being quite adventurous, part of Bretonnia, so it is fitting this Lord that has this ability. Chilfrey is a strong combatant, not spectacular but steady. He's more of a buff Lord and brings 2 very good abilities, with nothing exciting for damage, with only 1 IP of 140. First up, we have Going Somewhere. As I said in the introduction, he is quite feared and brings swift justice, so he can make any allies within 30 meters of the target unbreakable. Potential for saving a front line of capsing as you move your resources around, and at 32 seconds a brilliant ability. Next, a constant ability. Defender of Artois, giving units a plus 12 bonus for charge and immune to psychology. 2 great buffs which really make Chivalry really stand out. With not great stats as a Lord, I would keep him in the front line and maybe on foot, allowing you to buff units more easily. Starting army is very Bretonnian-like, with only 1 unit of cav, but 2 pox bowmen and a solid unit of infantry from the start. That trebuchet is a really nice addition to your starting army. Nothing spectacular, but buffs wise, this Lord should not be overlooked for an interesting campaign. So here we are with Artois on the campaign map. So like I did with the Empire faction, Empire factions are my first 4 videos I think I did on the Empire for Legendary Lords 1. I'm just going to take you over the campaign map, show you where you start, and in a bit I'll show you the skill trees. So here's Castle Artois. So you got 2 level 2 settlements. Obviously this one can be upgraded to the maximum tier 5. You've got a nice woodcutter's hut to start off with, so you can always try building that. And also you've got the start of the stables and the entire Bretonnian tree for that, which of course is a mainstay of any Bretonnian army. We also got Disarray there. We've got growth and you got some furs as well to trade on that hunting camp. More of a trade the better. So you got a path to Meyenberg, not too bad. You got the orcs the other side, the greenskins. Have a tendency not to bother you. They usually go for Meyenberg or Bretonnia at the top. So I wouldn't worry too much, but you never know, they may come around. The Blackstone Post, where Kenmure starts now, they do bother this settlement quite a lot. Artois have got to be aware of these. Also, you've got a small Mission army to deal with straight away. Because as you see, Mission is right on the doorstep, and you've got IAngus to the west, Bretonnia to the north, and Bastonne, I believe, to the southeast. So as a starting location, it has a couple of interesting parts to it. So you got the green skins, and you got the constant threat of Kenmure. Possibly something you should deal with straight away. Maybe making irons with Castle Bastonne and see if you can deal with it. You also got the dwarves here as well. Other than that, nice trade routes to Meyenberg. Of course, you got trade routes here. No port, obviously, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. So, yeah, with that all said, let's quickly go on to the skill tree. So here we are on the skill tree, and as you can see, it's a standard usual fare, as most of them are, with a whole new rank. So I'm going to concentrate on that. Other than that, these are always like the same. and I'm basic. It's all vanilla settings, by the way. So it's vanilla, but I'm using all the Mixu mods. So I'm using Mixu Legendary 1 and 2, and what's that? Mixu Legendary Lords 1 and 2. Apologies. Mixu's Tabletop Lords, Mixu's Unyoka, and Mixu's Campaign Supplement. Just in case you get a different type of starting army, what I've already covered. That is why, because if you use some of the different types of the mod or different variations of those 4-5 mods, you do get different starting units. Just to be aware. So let's concentrate mainly on the top part of this tree, because as they can see, most of it is exactly the same. You got a few, you got all your buffs for your armies, you got your personal buffs, and of course you've got the campaign buffs. But this is completely new, so going somewhere. This one's I've already covered in the just previous section. Got Knights of Artois, so more buffs for the Question Knights, always good. Bowmasters, and as you remembered, they have quite a good ability with the bows. The old Expert Charge Defense, which is a very, very good ability. So here are boosting no damage and range and damage is always good, and making them even cheaper, and they're pretty cheap as it is. Subject of Feared, Bane of Beasts, so quite a handy one, and you get a passive ability of Frenzy during forest battles, very nice. And Jousting Champion, so that's just increasing his ability on mounted. And of course, as Bretonnia is, they always start as mounted. And they also get the Hippogriff Knight. Ooh, I'll just spin right past that. There's the Hippogriff. And that is his skill tree. So, just thought I always like to point out anything new. And with Bretonnian factions, this is quite a new tree because it's a unique. There's one of these unique for each Yord. So I'll go through them again like I did in the Empire. On to Bastonne. Again bordering in the North Grey Mountains with a mountain pass to Ryky, allowing possible trade with the Empire. North is back to Artois, northwest Lyonese, west is Bordeaux, and south is Parravon. Bastonne is the centre of Bretonnia and is his future home. For the Cathedral of the Court of Yadi is in Castle Bastonne. The people are quite arrogant here, being the natural home to them of Bretonnia, and have the greatest amount of Grey Knights than any other kingdom. Faction-wise, boosting attacks for all Yords and boosting defence as well, and giving any new Yords a nice bonus of +2 on the level. Not the greatest abilities, but useful nevertheless. Leading this faction is Bormond Beast Slayer, a very powerful combatant and is the strongest of the 4 we are talking about today. A Grey Knight himself, known for killing the scariest of beasts of the old world has to offer, with a huge AP of 300 and a bonus for yards of 30, which is not surprising looking at the size of that damn weapon. His army effects give him access to Siri cheap Grey Knights at 50% upkeep. A crazy amount cheaper, and it can really make his armour very, very scary, possibly allowing up to 3 or 4 of these units in his army. Ability wise, a lot of combat buffs, and the Beast Slayer buff, which as you can see is very, very potent ability for taking on any hero, Yord or monster. Being a Grey Knight, he has a constant regen buff with Will of the AD, a very nice ability, making this character a complete monster in combat. His army is small, but interesting, giving Beaumont a regiment of renown of the Beast Slayers of Bastonne, and of course a unit of Grey Knights, and 2 more Cav. An army needing some freshening out, but has really strong units from the start, which can take a long time to recruit, normally, so look after these rare units. On to Bastonne now. So here we are with Bastonne's army. I've already covered that army, so I'll continue as the tour as I did with my previous one. Artois on top. Speaking of Artois to the north. So Bastonne are sort of sandwiched between pretty much Mission. I know Mission can go this way, and I've done so with regularity in my campaigns. And we got, of course, Kenmore here with the Blackstone Post. So 2 quite nasty places to be in, right between those 2 factions, and they sometimes really do want to join up. So Bastonne is probably one of the harder ones, I would say, out of these 4, because of that location. They do have a trade access for the Empire through Helmgard, and of course we've got dwarves for north here. To the south, got Parravon and Bordeaux to the south and west. And of course we have the new Greenskin army here, Massif Orca. Skull Smashers. Definitely can come this way. I've definitely known them to come through the mountains into here. On some of my campaigns I've seen that happen quite often, so be aware of that. But as Bastonne is going to no doubt destroy this small army, because it was quite very nice starting army. And that is pretty much all I got to say about them. They are in touching distance of just re-eyes, touching distance of the green skins. Now I haven't seen them come this way, but there's always an option of Scarsnick coming over and having a word. And there's a small buff between the Wood Elf factions, but it's not too bad. And I'm sure you'd make friends with dwarves quite easily. But yes, an interesting starting location, and I would say out of the 4, possibly the hardest. Okay, now we're on the skill tree for Vampdator, the Beast Slayer. As before, you got your standard, usual campaign buffs, the army buffs, and of course its own personal army buffs here, the personal unit buffs even. So as are the special ones he brings. So he's got a shield and a beast mace of Bastonne. Very nice, and as you can see, that's quite a powerful ability, right? Quite powerful, but you have 18, so it's quite far away from the start. Dragon Lance or Virtual Apathy. So these are possible weapons for him to use. The Dragon Lance giving a nice bonus +5 to charge, and his bonus for charge is already pretty high, so that's even better. And he also got a Will Pegasus or a Hippogriff with the AD, and that gives him his regen. And we've got the Answer Bretonnia, and of course the usual buffs there. So Beast Slayer, it's a nice hex at level 10. Being able to destroy a large beast very quickly. Oh, a hero. Very easily. A powerful ability to say the least. Got Renowned Knights, so this boosts the Grail Knights and the Grail Guardians. Very good. One of my favourite units, Grail Knights. Not as fond of Grail Guardians though. Grail Knights, yeah, I think Grail Guardians are a bit over expensive really. Anyway, Zealous Peasantry. So unlocking bonuses for the Spearmen and Arms and Men at Arms. Very nice. Giving them extra buffs for bonus for Yards, no doubt. Yeah, there's bonus uses Yard +5. And always good to have a bit more upkeep on them. Hero of Bastonne. So just boosting his reinforcements range. And making that immune to psychology in the Order's army. Very nice. Was that when? Yeah, winning an own or out territory. Interesting ability that. Quite unique. We got Sense of Jersey Breton. So reduction of construction times. Very good, and costs. And the last one is a Dragon Slayer. Obviously, he's a Beast Slayer, and he can also apparently take on a dragon. Because obviously, massive hit point increase of +20%. That's quite large. Ward save 10%, very good, and unbreakable. That really does make him an even bigger combat monster. So there you go. There's the Beast Slayer. Up now is UNA, situated on the northwest coast and only having 1 province compared to the usual 2 of all the others. They are flanked by Carolingia to the north, east is Artois, and south is of course the Red Duke and Musion. A large region, but split due to Musion's troubles with the undead and the Red Duke taking over. Query brings its own unique challenges at the start. A very noble region, plagued with rivalry and their own faction. Faction-wise, they bring bonus to a Knights Errant and Knights of the Realm, and a nice upkeep reduction to these units as well. And bonuses to fighting undead, which is query needed, and allow them to settle on the Vampire Coast Islands. Leading them is Aldahard DNA. A man of battle and enjoys combat as well as the feasting and gambling afterwards, which is somewhat down to his Norscan blood found in this area. A good combatant but a bit headstrong, so his defence is the weakest of the 4, but good AP at 290, so solid, but remember he has no shield. Your effects gives him more bust for Knights Errant and Knights of the Realm, all handy, but again not as good as options as some of the other Yords. Buffs wise, he brings the Awe of Authority, buffing leadership and the damage resistance, which is a very nice buff. Where he can also boost his own combat prowess as well, allowing him to tank a hero or enemy Yord. Starting an army though is large and very well balanced with spearmen and units of halberders, a trebuchet and a very useful grey Cray, and lots of high tier infantry, battle pilgrims and foot squires, with a couple units of cav just to finish off a 13 strong army, handy for taking on Musion straight away. And now over UNA. So UNA situated on the coast, so of course you get a nice port, And you have 3 settlements here. And you're in direct opposition to Mixu, who already have a starting army with the Red Duke here. Not question marks there. And of course they have a reasonably strong army, which I've already shown before. So to the north, of course, you've got Bretonnia. To the east is Artois. South is Mixu, and that's about it really. As starting places go, of course you've got a very strong undead faction right next door, right on your doorstep. And Mixu are no joke really. Red Duke has got a 15 strong army. Okay, maybe some have got skeletons and zombies, of course. You can see a unit graveguard there. But yes. Just take on straight away? Or do you wait it out and build a bit more of an army? Of course, because I'm playing, like I've said before, one of my first, I think when I talk about Artois, I'm playing with Legendary Lords 1 and 2, and some of the other mods Mixu come with. That's why I also get this hero as UA French, great. Grey Hunter, and he of course might boost your army, so let's put him straight in there anyway. So other than that, it's a reasonable starting price, but yeah, I would say it's dangerous as possibly the ones I was talking about over here, but with the Red Duke right on your doorstep, this is certainly no joke. So with that said, let's go to the skill trees. So here we are with skill trees, as always, the usual ones on the bottom here, and campaign, army, and of course his own personal abilities. More interesting, at the top here, he's got the IAngus cloak. You can actually go on a hippogriff or wheel back at this. I think that's like all the Bretonnia Lords. But this is where we want to find out what's going on. So we got a nice cooldown on rally and stand your ground, and a nice buff for leadership and damage resistance. Always good to have them next to your armies. We've got some nice airwind, so some stats buffs and some weapon strength. Breast machine, so this one's got a bit of artillery buffs. One of the first Bretonnia Lord we've come across with that ability. So nice cheap artillery units. Warrior, not a diplomat, so usually control, but it's getting up more charge bonus and hit points. Let's move across a bit. And we have nice bit of attrition, a real time reduction for 6%, so he's obviously a very good siege lord. And we've got Embrace Ulrich. Ulrich is one of the main gods, and I was into boost his own physical abilities, melee attack, but of course it looks like it might go into a rampage, or Embrace the AD. So he obviously becomes a Grail Knight with the blessing of the AD and a big physical resistance of plus 20%, a nice constant ability. And don't forget the magical resistance of 25%. So very nice little tree there. It's got some nice options. Lastly, we have Parravon, situated close to the Wood Elves' lands, which are to the east. North is Bastonne, and to the west is Bordeaux, with Carolingia to the south. The castles of Parravon are up in the mountains of the southern Grey Mountains, and the lands themselves are all farmland to support these castles. The land is noted for having some of the highest populations of Pegasus in Bretonnia, and is one of their chief exports. Faction wise, they have a good replenishment on the Pegasus and the Hippogriffs, and can actually live happily in the mountains to suck out the dwarves. The other note is all Bretonnia Lords from this faction start on Pegasus, a very good way to start off for any new lord. Leading this faction is the youngest of all the dukes, Carolingia de Parravon, a duke for not one of the traditional roles of leading his people from the court. A notable combatant, he prefers to unite his people on the back of his Royal Pegasus Knights in battles. Yes, he starts on a Royal Pegasus, bringing the upkeep down by 50% for Pegasus and Hippogriffs, making fielding a quarter of your army with these winged beasts quite possible. Buff-wise, he is a Grail Knight, so that he has that regen bonus, and a Young and Restless bonus, making him very fast and even more devastating on the charge. Starting army, of course, has Pegasus. 3 units of, one of them being a Royal Pegasus, and him being on the back of a Pegasus makes his army so mobile, it's very scary. We have a few infantry to bolster ranks, so you need to add some more infantry and some Mixu units, and this army hardly needs anything else, and can really scare any army with its mobility. And finally, we come to Parravon. And here they are. Let's go for the army. So we've got Parravon here, and you've got Quenelles down the bottom. So both of these are bordering the Great Wood Elves and Artois. So yeah, you start off at war with the main Wood Elf faction, and hopefully you can get on their right side, because you really don't want them as your enemy, because Wood Elves are a powerful army. In the meantime, you still have some dwarves, some greenskins to deal with, so I think that'll be a priority. Get rid of them as quick as possible, and that way, as a result, you can actually, because you put Parravon, and you can actually, that is a suitable requirement, so you can actually take that over for yourself, which is very handy from the start. Other than that, so you got my 2 regions. Nothing massively special about them, apart from the obvious nice pasture. And also you got Stonecutter. Oh, and you get Peaks of Parravon. I forgot about that. So that's a nice little bonus for your upkeep for the Pegasus. And of course, being that you're famed for your Pegasus, you already start off with 3 very powerful units straight right off. I remember, as you can see here, there he is on his Pegasus. So a good starting location. I quite like the starting location. Yeah, I've got a Scar Snake to the northeast. Not too much of a problem, but you've got nice trade routes from Montfort, as in Bastonne. You've got trade with Bordeaux, and of course you've got Carolingia at the bottom here. So nice 3 options for trade. Kind of blocked with Wood Elves because you can't really trade with Wood Elves because of the annoying system they have. Hopefully that's going to be upgraded at some point, and hopefully see able to do this. And other than that, yep, I quite like the starting location. I think it's quite interesting. Gives you a few options to go down. You can go down here, get a military alliance, come down here, or you can go on a crusade. Go close for sure and just go on a crusade somewhere. Anyway, that is Parravon. So this is this skill tree. As always, usual fare. I won't go through them. And we have some nice abilities here. We've got a nice couple of weapons. So we've got this nice quest weapon, rank 13, massive fire damage, and abused weakness to fire damage. So that's very nice. And boosting his leadership aura, and you can dismount this character. Interesting choice. I didn't know you could do that. Whether you'd want to, I'm dubious, because he starts off on a Pegasus, and hence why his stats are quite extreme. And I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't know why you would want to move him from Pegasus. I suppose possibly to boost your melee infantry, but with Pegasus I would definitely use him with that, and you can always put on a Hippogriff at some point. Anything over there? Nope. They're the usual things. So let's have a look at this good tree. So you got this, the Young and Restless, Sky Masters, so of course upgrading your Pegasus and your Hippogriffs. Something to upgrade the Mounted Yeoman, that make him a bit cheaper. Not the greatest unit in the world, but nice and cheap, and that makes him even cheaper. And give him some combat bonuses. Holy Prowess, nice magic resistance for all units, that's very good. Alright, constant unit experience, that's really nice. Get a nice veteran type of army straight away, or easy without doing much. Very nice, and of course you got your campaign movement range. Movement range is key in a lot of battles, a lot of campaigns. And the last one is defend with Parravon. So nice bit of growth, income from trade plus 10, additional trade resources produced plus 10. So a good strong economy straight from the start with the trade with the Empire and various other factions. Vital, I would say. And that is Carolingia de Parravon's skill tree. And with that being said, I can close this video. That's all the Bretonnian factions. Bretonnian factions for this mod. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.